Hi, welcome to the StockinetteZombies. I'm Amy, also known as Jane Itma.
And I'm Megan, also known as Just Run It. And this is episode 254, the episode that we upgrade the camera.
Yeah.
There's an external mic, there's a tripod, there's a remote. It's all very exciting.
And worrisome, because we're like, is this actually recording the things that we're saying? Can you hear us?
Yes.
Is the mic now picking up more noises than it would before?
Yeah. So ultimately, I think the other camera was either on the fritz or there was something in my house that was making that like click, 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 click noise every once in a while.
Right.
And it was either tuning into it. So yeah, trying out a new camera, getting a legit microphone that can like really, not part of the camera microphone.
Yep.
That can really sense what's going on. If you're hearing some like tink tink tink, that might be Sullivan playing with his his donut and not your speakers or the camera going out. So yeah, we'll see. Might be more like, gosh, what are all those noises? Oh, I hear the helicopter going over, or the road noise, or Lord knows what. But it was it's been fun. Technical challenge, I guess, to get it all set up and ready to go. And take this opportunity, I guess, to say I've been uploading in HD to YouTube. So if you are watching it on iTunes and you're feeling like things are really blurry or not as high quality as they could be, YouTube, while it does support higher upload file sizes, did I just say YouTube? I meant iTunes. iTunes does support like being able to download like a 3 gigabyte file, but ultimately I think you want to stream that, not download it. So, because YouTube's got all that compression and they've got it figured out.
Yep.
Anyway, technology talk. Hopefully, just bringing you a better quality podcast, I guess.
We hope so.
And maybe now you can see that I have freckles or something. I was noticing that Quentin, my baby's getting freckles. So, just a little doop, 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 where the sun is kissing him. The weather has been nice here.
Yeah, I was surprised when I got in my car to come over here. It was still warm.
Yeah.
It was still like, oh, refreshing.
We had the ceiling fan going. Yeah, like we still got the windows open to bring the cooler air in. It's nice. It's nice. I don't know. I feel like Minnesotans particular, I didn't notice it as much in Iowa, and it might just be an age thing versus a Minnesota thing, because I've only been this age in Minnesota.
Right.
I was only younger and oblivious when I was in Iowa. But it seems like in Minnesota, when it turns nice outside, it's like we were all bugs, like in a little log hiding away in the cold, and then the second that it gets nice out, it's like scurry, 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 like play in the sun, play in the sun, play in the sun. Like, let's get busy, let's do all the things outside, let's do this, let's go there. Oh, let's ride our bikes, let's go for a hike, let's walk here. You know, like, it's just everybody is like super busy outdoors. Yeah.
The neighborhoods seem to get,
Hopping.
Yeah, full of people once again. Although, I feel like my family is still, like, tentatively putting their toe out, like...
They're the bugs that needed to be a little warmer before they're full on. Yeah, Dexter was telling me that there was a number of kids, like one broke his foot this weekend doing something, like just stuff that, because you're out and about doing things.
Right.
Dexter had his 9th birthday on Friday, so we had a gaggle, I think that's the correct term for third graders, a gaggle of third graders that came over after school, and my husband, in typical, I'm going to share my brew fashion, turned like the birthday party into like an after party, so like all of the adults came to pick up the kids, and my husband was feeding them pizza and beer. So the 3rd grade birthday party didn't wrap up until like 8, 9 o'clock at night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was quite the, it was like, not a lot of 9-year-olds have like a 5-6 hour birthday party, but okay, I mean, it's at our house.
Right.
But yes, he's 9. My Dexter's 9. Last year before he's double digits.
Yep. Both mine are double digits.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's all crazy downhill from here.
It is. It's great. Well, and then it's soccer season. And so that was crazy. Saturday, trying to juggle that, getting people ready for soccer. I can't say that I handled soccer because I ran up to the Twin Cities to go to Yarnover. So, and I know you had an exciting weekend with doing some shopping with Miss Karen and then hitting Yarnover.
Yep. Let's see. Yeah, we went to the Mall of America and kind of just shopped, and not necessarily till we dropped, but just like knowing that we needed to head up north to where Yarnover was going to be was kind of like, okay, yep, I think I'm done here. Let's go to the next thing, and we hit gluten-free restaurants on the way, here and there, just to make sure. So 3 meals and 3 new restaurants for Karen, so that was fun. And trying to think, when we got into Yarnover, other than vendors that I knew, Karen got more recognized than us.
That's fun.
Because I am hiding in my hidey hole, and she had met a bunch of people at January Thaw, and so those people were actually at Yarnover and remembered her. Cool. And she's way more approachable. Such a
do people have to know how to approach you? Is
No.
that the come from the side? Come on, Sully, come here. Come here, you big boy. Oh, there's a Sully. Oh, you guys can't see him.
sniffing my toes.
Come here, Sully. What's up, Sully? Good. Yes, he's getting tubby, aren't you? Every time he sees me, he's like, I want to eat, woman. Ha ha. Okay, I'm going to eat. Other than that, I signed up for the Med City Half Marathon.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Sullivan's vet is actually a pacer in the Med City Half Marathon. Although I think she's going to be going a slightly slower pace than I am. Oh, okay. Can't talk about my vet that way. And so I've been trying to go out on longer runs on the weekend. Last weekend I told myself if I could do 9 miles, like that 13 wouldn't be impossible. So Monday was a little bit of a hobble. And then yesterday I set out to at least do 9, possibly 10, and it was just so beautiful out, and I just got into such a headspace that I was able to do 11. But again, today I'm like walking around going like, and for some reason like my core stomach muscles, I must have engaged those a little bit more somehow. So I'm like, oh, ow, when I'm like reaching for stuff. I don't know. Don't ask me. I don't know how you exert your stomach, your abs while you're running. But I mean, they are part of the equation. Just seems like that would have come about, other times as well. Anyway, putting the run back in to just run it, as I often say this time of year. Things happen in cycles, or cyclical, right?
Yeah. I started doing the OCR training again, and we only run
Optical character recognition?
Interesting, but no.
Oh, okay.
Obstacle course racing.
Ah, that's fun. Sorry, in my world, OCR is optical character recognition.
No, obstacle course racing. So like Spartan or Hammer Race or
Cool. I didn't know you did that.
I don't. I do the training.
Oh, I see.
It's a lot of fun. Like in January, I learned to climb ropes. In February, I learned to carry an Atlas stone. And then they took March and April off, and they just started up, most of April off, and they just started up these last 2 weeks. So I did some really tough ones, and then yesterday I did only the first half because I had to pick Justin up from camp. But the first half was a 40-minute workout, so like, well, and the second half's another 40-minute workout, so I think I did okay. But yeah, it's like 2.5 miles of running instead. instead of 11, broken up by a lot of other things.
I hatched a lot of eggs in Pokemon Go yesterday.
I imagine you did.
I'm still doing that, by the way. My trip down to San Antonio, when we went down to Corpus Christi, we saw one Heracross on the nearby and caught it. So I have a Heracross, which is a regional, and then the Corsola. I thought they would just be all over San Antonio from what I had read out on like Reddit and stuff. And only one there was one in the nearby when we were on Six Flags, and I couldn't leave Six Flags to get it. It was like outside of Six Flags. And then we saw one and caught it right before we left, like the last day that we were there.
Huh.
So yeah, I don't know if it's like Tauros here, where you see them every once in a while. Anyway, Pokemon Go chatter. I still play. Feel free to judge me, but I still play. It's very, we have some, we can see ourselves with the screen flipped around, and I'm on the wrong side. Like I'm expecting myself to be, because it's the mirror.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry. So I keep looking up and I'm like, I'm not wearing red. Oh! That's Amy.
Like suddenly my hair changed color.
Playing with technology. All right. Administrati. I wanted to mention that I'm super excited, and everybody should know, so there's no spoilers, that I'm part of the post-stitch box for April, the Parting Up and Getting Down, and they had some really fun, kind of longer repeat color changing yarn. I'm trying to remember, I had it in my head and now I've forgotten it, that they sent out a kit with. I'm super excited about that. I have been like all socks all the time recently. I think soccer season kicks in and I'm very much about like on the go, being able to catch a few rows, whereas like that's an impossible row to get through. Right. I also was able to release my Adventure Walk socks. We found a good day to go to the Foundation House, which is where the Mayo brothers, Will and, oh gosh, the other Mayo brother, I don't remember. Will and Charlie. Okay. Oh, they were going to take away my Mayo card if I didn't know that. Their residence, and now it's been converted to more of like a function, conference area. But they have a really pretty wall there and some stones and whatever, and I plied my children with the promise of bubble tea if they were patient with the photography process. And so we had our adventure, and then we went and had bubble tea as per usual. When we go out on these adventure walks, there's always the promise of a random incentive. This I promised. I need to go take pictures of the new Sideways Henley top. Tentatively, I'm calling it Keep Shining. Sorry, inspired by the light rays, or solar power. I know the song. Keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me. For sure, that's what friends are for. But yes, keep shining, sun, kind of solar inspired, especially again, like this time of year when the sun starts shining and it warms up, everybody's just like, so yeah, tentatively calling that. Anyway, back to the Adventure Walk socks. There's a $2 off coupon. I originally said May 1st. I don't know what I was thinking because I didn't think we were going to be able to record, but I want to be able to get this out there so that folks that are watching can get the pattern for $2 off with the code ADVENTURE. And I'm going to extend that to Cinco de Mayo, May 5th. Cool. Yeah. And then we've got a review at the end. Other than that, it is not the Scrappy Happy KAL end yet, because it's not yet May in our time, but by the time this is published, it will indeed be May Day. Yeah, it's very true. May Day. I don't know about you, but definitely yarn over, and then in 2 weeks, Shepherd's Harvest makes everything about the retreat seem super real. Super real, super close, super everything. Yes. Definitely seeing like the vendors that are going to be in our market, and then saying like, oh yep, the next time I'm vending, it will be at yours. I'm like, what? Super surreal. Another fine year. I'm super excited about it. I can't wait for everybody to see all the fun stuff that we've got planned. So.
Yep, definitely need to get out a lot of correspondence here soon.
Yep.
To different folks, but yeah. So finished objects. Is that what
I
we
think that's
usually
where
do?
we're at,
All
unless
right.
you had something else that you needed to speak of.
So all I know that I've gotten done is these socks. So these are the Daphne socks.
I
From
think you had a
PA.
hoe maybe, or a whip last time.
Something. I was awaiting the tow yarn, and that came, and as soon as tow yarn came, I got one sock done, and then the other one just zoomed up. Oh, just zoomed up! Whoa. Like
Sorry, we
were
were playing with this earlier, so I was gonna.
Woo! So yeah, it's kind of hard to see the exact pattern, but there's definitely a lot of texture, and when it's in person, you can see what it's doing.
Mm-hmm. And you had coordinating toes.
Well, yeah, so this is a sport weight sock. I had made them too tall to get the full sock done without having something on the bottom. And a very generous and lovely Crabby from the Hermit Crabs of Eat, Sleep, Knit sent me her leftovers from something she had done. And so it coordinated nicely, and there was plenty there to do my toes. So now that is full Eat, Sleep, Knit, and it will count during the KAL. Because if I had used some other scraps that I had, which is what I started doing, but then I was like, uh-oh, I better ask permission, because I don't want to waste all of this knitting, have it not count towards the KAL. So, and then that is all that is done, as far as I can tell. I mean, we did only record 2 weeks ago. It's amazing.
Personal 2018 record.
Yep, it did.
I think last time that we podcasted, I had at least one of these socks on the needles. I don't know if I had one finished and I was starting the other one, or if I was in process.
Finished.
Yeah, in process. So I got the other one on the needles. I believe it's this one. At about this point, I had to swap in a different green.
Oh,
because
okay.
I ran out of the other. It's hard to tell. It's a very similar. I mean, this is the kind of the color of my This is kind of the color that I enjoy working with. But I just had to find some scrap. I'm really loving not only the moving motif across the top of the foot, but also the micro stripes. Like those micro stripes. My little heart goes pitter pat when I see them. So yeah, there's a solid toe, a solid heel, and a solid cuff. I had a call out on Instagram for test knitters and had a really great response. And so that went out. And then I have another design that I'll show in further FOs that I had enough people that were interested that are going to be knitting that. And so this is another version. I believe the gray is Lorna's Laces, and the self-striping is Vesper Knitter Leavings. So this one was just a variegated paired with a solid, and this one is a solid paired with a self-striping, so you can kind of see the stripes get thicker. But it's fun. I'm really embracing the scraptasticness, and I was going to show this in my purchases, but I got a fake foot to try to be able to take more close up. Well, dimensional too, right? Like a sock blocker is cute, but you can't really see how it's going to look on the foot. And so these were from Amazon. There were some that had like a magnet on the bottom, but a lot of people said that you could very easily put a hook in the top, or you could get a magnet and just do it aftermarket. So those are the Slip Slide Splash socks, and they are going to be part of the splash pad with Down Cellar Studio. And I'm hoping to get those out. I believe that KAL starts in June, so I'm hoping to get them out here in May. So that's the Slip Slide Splash. And then, because I'm completely in love with two color socks, I wanted to do the expanding community in two color. again with those micro stripes, so you're just alternating. I was joking around with Jeremy that it's like alternating current, but it's alternating color. AC. And then he started singing AC/DC to me. But it's that same kind of expanding community motif, but it has been updated. It's not just being able to flip. I actually had to change the pattern to get it so that the pearls are in the contrast color, and that the decreases are a little different because of that. So it had to be updated again with the solid toe and the coordinating heel. I ran out of the solid because I didn't have 50 grams of it, and so I just did the top with the contrasting color. But the self-striping is from Show Me Yarn. This is Kiss Me, I'm an Irish Zombie. And then the purple is Spartacus dyes, and it's a merino silk, I believe. It was from one of her clubs. But I really just thought that the colors shone really well together. And tentatively, this design is being called a radiant community, because it's like it radiates out. And the colors, I really think it makes their motif shine with that slipping and alternating of colors. So that is my other finished object. Lots of socks. Cool. Lots of socks, lots of two-color scrappiness going on. What are you working on there?
So this is the
Granito.
Granito.
It's glowing. Is that an earring on there?
It's a stitch marker holder loop thing, and it was showing where the armpit was so that I could measure.
Got it.
Because when you're measuring through an open hole, you don't get an accurate measurement, so I had to move a marker over to help me with that.
That's gorgeous.
So, yep.
Is that a pocket?
Yep. Those will be pockets. And I'm on the ribbing for the end, so I'm going to move to the sleeves so that I get the sleeve length I want, and then come back and I have more of this Springdale Sport that I can use in a pink or a blue, so if I run out, I don't necessarily have to have the insiders of the pockets matching. So
yeah.
I thought that would be kind of fun and clever and cute, to put like a splash of pink pocket on the inside. But probably only if I run out of yarn.
Yeah.
So
who knows?
yeah,
It may just strike you as a really cute idea even without.
could be. But you know, I got this much. Doesn't seem like a whole lot when I got
There's
two
two.
sleeves.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that, and I'm on the ribbing, so that will be.
And you're pulling from the outside, right? Those aren't like hollowed
no,
out
yeah,
balls.
These are solid. I'm pulling
Those
from
are
the
solid
outside.
balls.
Yeah. Those are. That's definitely more than half of the ball left there. Yeah. And it could be shorter sleeves, I guess. I don't want to do that, but they are drop sleeves, so you know I shouldn't need to put a whole lot of length on them. It's not like to go all the way up to the drop sleeve. Like
I was wearing my Sunset Highway at Yarn Over, and a lot of people commented that they liked the shorter sleeve. They thought it was more of a springy, transitional length.
Yeah. Well, I'll knit to see what I have.
You're like, if it is, it is. If it isn't, it isn't.
Yeah, the plan is to go for the full garment if I can.
And that colorway is Amy, is that right?
Yeah, it's Amy colorway. I'm noticing that I'm hoping that this will fix in washing, but some of the yarn is very twisted.
Like, oh yeah, I see that.
And it's not bloomed, and the other parts are not as twisted and they're bloomed, and so it looks like I've got like lace weight going through, you know, with all of the rest. And I just noticed a bad pickup.
That row. Grab your earring.
Yeah, gotta mark it so that I don't, like, I don't know, wear it and then have it pop. might as well fix it now.
Faux show.
Well, now I want to just look through the garment and do that. Anyway, so that's one. And then I have my lace that I am still working on. I did get through 3 rounds of the beading. So I'm on a chart that's going a while without doing beads again. And then there'll be a couple more rows of beads. But so far, that's what I have.
And that's beading as you go, not
Yep.
like loading it up on the yarn and working
Right.
it in, right?
Right, this is just beading as I go. Oh, and I must have set the beads down on the end table. I was going to show you that I had my little stunning string fixer attached to the beads so that everything was together. But I was working on it this weekend and it must have ended up on the end table.
As things do.
And then I have started a toe, and I haven't gotten much further, and I started to design something, and I know in my mind that I'm not going to be happy with it, so maybe I could adventure walk sock them or something.
Yeah.
Because I'm only 6 rounds from, just the basic toe, so I could probably undo what I've done here.
There's lots of options. There's panel, there's a full foot, there's chart that you can just repeat over and over, or you can...
I don't know, that might be too much thinking.
Yeah, well that was the thing, that was where I was like, oh, adventure walk socks, those could be super simple too, right? Because you want to be able to walk with them. But
Right.
ultimately I liked that you could kind of choose your own adventure with the charts. Anyway. Those are your whips?
Yep.
Okay. My only current whip, other than some design that is not fit for the air currently, is another one of those Radiant Community socks. This one is with leftover Wool-Mize and leftover from the Adventure Walk socks. This is Leading Fiber Arts in the Cherry Blossom colorway. Yeah, and so I was liking that there was a little bit of pops of color, but not necessarily color blocking like the stripes is doing. Yeah, and then just every once in a while in those micro stripes, just 5 little pink ones popping out. And or on the front in the not traveling stitches. So yeah, it's, I don't know, I've been getting a lot of enjoyment out of feeling like I'm actually using all of these scraps that are just sitting around going like, you loved me once. And now you can love me again. And I did stop by Steve and Andy's booth and pick out 2 colors that I thought I would. I've got one more design that I need to write up, and I'll probably need test knitters for, possibly a 4th. But two color designs, all of them AC, none of them DC. I don't know what DC is, other than the comic, but in this alternating color scheme. So micro stripes on the back side. Do you want to do purchases next, or did you want to talk about a review? I don't know. Okay, I'll grab the review then.
Right.
If I can find the packaging. My daughter is obsessed with it. She keeps taking it out of the packaging and then going like, but Mom, how did you have it in there? And I was like, you just kind of fold the handle in and then you push it through the... So she was trying to return it back to its normal state. But yes, we got this Project Caddy from Lazadas, Lazadas, and that's lazadas.net. They're out of Israel. And they really feature very functional but also beautiful items. And so as you could see, this is a yarn bowl. And I've been all about really being able to close things up, because every night I have to make sure I don't have a sock sitting around for Sully to grab and go to town with, and or knitting, because the yarn, it is irresistible. And so functions as a yarn bowl if you just kind of throw everything in there. Let's see if I And then also you can pull the handle through, and I could very easily be knitting out of this as well, but it becomes a project transportation mechanism. Very pretty motif around the outside, and then a place where you can stick your needles if you're interested in not having them have stuff. Like if you had straights or something where you didn't want the stitches to fall off. I obviously have magic looping, so I don't have any fear of my stitches falling off of this one. It features on the packaging, and I can say for certain that it is odorless. So I kind of got it out thinking that it might need to be aired out for a bit, and it really doesn't have. It's 100% silicone, so it's smooth and there's no snagging. And it says it's waterproof, so if you set it down in something that was a little wet, obviously it doesn't completely seal up. Right. So if you couldn't take it deep sea diving with you or anything. But they had some blocking wires. I chose this yarn caddy because I was very interested on how it folded up on itself. And really pretty, some really pretty colors. These all ship, and they do international shipping from Israel, and this retails for $49. So, yes, I again, if I didn't have a cat that would immediately see this as, oh, you put my yarn in the bowl for me, you could just leave it sitting out and it would be super pretty. I really like this. I'm sure that if it got scratched up a little bit, that the color's all the way through.
Yep.
So those silicone items like that. Oh, yeah. So thank you to Lazarus for, I hope I'm saying that right, for sending it to us. Yarn bowl on the go.
Yeah, I guess that is more like impressive, right? You could be like at midnight, just like, why?
Yeah. Insta bowl. You got knitting?
Yes, I do. Yeah. Or even better, they could fill it with candy.
Yes. That would be my daughter's solution to what. Maybe that's why she's been eyeballing it.
It's like just dole out the candy through the little holes, or
yeah. Or you could take it trick or treating. And be like, give me some candy, and then wrap her up. But yes,
that's not big enough for trick or treat, I guess.
If you're me, it is, because I don't eat sugar. So no candy. I don't know. I like it. I find it aesthetically pleasing. And the form factor and the handle flipping down, I don't know. I've played with it way too much. I should stop. But I will knit out of it. All right. Did you have some fun purchases at the market?
Yeah. So, the Yarnery had advertised that they were going to be selling Holst garn, and that is out of it says holstgarn.dk. Is that Denmark? I had it in my mind, but then they had a misprint on their kit label, so yeah. So anyway, it's a cotton wool blend. Feels very much like it would make a nice garment, but the pattern that this kit is for is kind of a bias knit scarf.
Okay.
And they had it knit up there at the retreat, at the thing. But I just wanted to try the yarn, and this is the bundle that they had available.
What weight is that?
It is it could be laced, fingering to, etc., etc. Because it's 50 grams for 350 meters. So it is a lace weight, but it blooms a lot. Yeah, they said that basically you could probably get away with a lot. in this yarn because it will bloom.
And you got 5 colors.
Yeah. For $35.
Very cool.
So I think she said it retails for $6.75 in the shop. So this was $7 a ball, but it came with the pattern. So pattern's got to be worth something, right?
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Indeed, says the designer.
Yes.
Indeed.
So then, let's see. I also got Sun Valley Fibers, and I got her MCN in the Wedgwood colorway because she had a sample of a cherry blossoms hat. And so the had pink beads in it that were the cherry blossoms, and so this was like the sky, and then I got these for the branches. And then I just need to find those really cool pink beads, and I will be good to go.
Huh. Yeah, I think you sent me a picture.
Yeah.
Inadvertently.
I was trying to send it to my mom, and then Megan's like, "Why?"
I was like, question mark? Am I supposed to ooh and ah, or what? Yeah.
What am I looking at? It did seem like a random picture.
It was okay. I deduced using my Sherlock Holmesian skills that, like, one of these is a picture of your mom's bags. I bet it's for your mom.
It was. So I got those. The brown that I really liked was only in the minis, but that's good because I only needed the minis worth for the hat. It actually said 80 grams, give or take. And so I'm assuming that's take because Jeanette said she wasn't sure if the 50 yards in here, or not 80 grams, 80 yards. So she wasn't sure if the 50 yards that are in the minis would cover it. So I got extra. I got 3 because I'm going to make 2 hats. But, yeah, so hopefully that works out and I don't need to like emergency get. There was the cast on edge or bind off, I'm not sure which because I haven't gotten the pattern yet, was in the contrasting color, so I guess I could take that out if I thought that I needed some extra yardage.
It didn't impact.
Right.
Or you do the top of the hat where not a lot of people see it. Unless the branches go clear up into the crown.
No, so the branches were kind of right around the main part that you would see. And
should have paid more attention to the inadvertent text. Yeah.
And then there was a little bit of contrasting around the brim, but not anything at the top.
Got it.
Yeah.
So that's not going to save you any yardage. 0 yardage, Megan. Great idea. I was in Stephen B's booth, and it was so nice to see everyone. I really enjoy all of the Stephen B employees. They were all wearing name tags. So Pip had, like a "I'm not Missy," and Aaron had like a "I'm not Bridget," and it was funny. But yes, had a good time there, met a lot of wonderful folks, sat there, and my mantra was, I am not going to buy any of, they had just gotten a shipment in of the hedgehog fibers. I just kept on repeating to myself, I'm not going to get the hedgehog fibers, I'm not going to, and that, ultimately, I was able to not get the hedgehog fibers, but then I binged on other things. So I don't know that it really did me much good, my mantra. So I went over and saw at the Yarn Harbor booth these Gray Duck Bag Co. Sort it, contain it, keep it dry. GrayDuckBags.com. Which she said was in Ely, Minnesota. But it's waterproof, and I don't think the zipper necessarily is waterproof. So again, you probably couldn't go scuba diving with it. But I'm at a point in my life where resistance to water seems like a good idea. We've got lots of kids going to soccer games, water bottles, carry it into the back when kids are showering and I'm supervising, that sort of thing. Randomly, I was the weirdo walking around mail where I had forgotten to close the top of my tea container, and there was just tea dripping out of my sling. Yeah, it was pretty sad, and I felt like, oh my gosh, nobody stopped me and said, "Ma'am, you're dripping tea all over the floor." Just like a trail, like Hansel and Gretel.
Oh, I see where Megan's been.
Exactly. Is that lemon loaf tea I see? Oh, that's where Megan's been. So yeah, good. I've had enough spills in my slings recently that like, maybe waterproof bag isn't such a bad idea. I would have been completely sold. They have that same, the sheep, the yellow sheep, the Grello sheep. If it had been that, I think I would have gone nuts so crazy. But instead I got the really pretty multicolor feathers. And then I stopped by, in no particular order here, the Stunning String booth, yes, sorry. And was going to pick out a ton of colors there and restrained myself to just the little cat head stitch markers. Those were cute, yes. Although my daughter was very upset because none of them were particularly, there is one that kind of looks like Sullivan.
Oh, yeah.
But there were none in this batch. I don't know if there were any. I think these are all, all that they had. But yeah, cat person, little progress marker, and then these individual, none of them that look like Max and Chad, sorry to finish my sentence. Just a little gray guy in there, but fun. That Stunning String had some cat stitch markers. And then, as I mentioned, I picked out some coordinating. They had the 50 gram skeins. This is Drama Queen, and this one is Starting Point. I liked this combo together. Started out one thinking maybe I would do the variegated as the toe on one and then flip-flop them, because it does need just, for my size, and a decent size cuff, kind of like you were talking about with your sport. It needs the main color because it's the toe and the heel and throughout the foot and the cuff. It's very close to 50 grams.
Gotcha.
So I thought maybe if I could make one with the toe and heel and cuff with the main color and then flop it on the other one. But ultimately I do really like the solid with the other color, the more variegated one, not the main color. But thanks Steve and Andy for that. Next I went to Diane Muse's booth. My husband does screen printing. He bought the materials to make his own screens, and I just look at this because I've been able to see his handiwork and how hard he has to try at it to get it this dark in these areas and these intricate little places, and not have any like light spots or places where it didn't completely bind is amazing. She is an artist. So this is amusing. And not only that, but just like the sweetest person. So I got my credit card out to hand it to her, and she was like, well, I don't take credit cards. And I was like, oh, well, I don't have $20 cash on me right now. I never have any cash. It's the state of my life. I feel like when I do have it, like it gets given to a kid to go get that, or made change for, if perchance the tooth fairy needed change or something.
Right.
So
Tooth fairies are never prepared.
I know, right? It's like teeth come out at will and they never know. And she was like, well, you can give me the $10 that you have, and then I'll give you my address and you can write me a check. And I was like, well, okay. Sold. So yeah, this is my green, and I thought that this was just beautiful. So I got it. And I haven't seen her before, but she said that she's been at Yarn over.
Yep.
So
I've been tempted by the
Like hand towels and stuff?
The hand towels in the past. Yeah, she was always along that, I don't know, like when it branched like this, she was always along this wall, on the interior side, not the exterior walls.
Okay.
And then, anyway, so yeah, the hand towels, she has one that has like a bunch of cats on it that I'm always tempted by.
I didn't see that one, or I would have been tempted by it. But yeah, just my husband's recent, like, he's had a lot of people in his biker gang, and I put air quotes on that for anybody that's listening. He's got bicyclists that go out and go drinking and ride bikes together. He's got a recent rash of them that are having children, and so he's making onesies for them with his little group logo on it.
Okay.
And some of them turn out, okay, but none of them like that. So I know that she's got a lot of artistry in that. And then I stopped by Grinning Gargoyle. Did you feel her new 17 face?
No.
So, yeah. Lene knows how, Executiva out on Ravelry, she knows how to get me. Like, she's always got an interesting base. So there for a while it was mink. She had that Sita sock that was equal parts merino and silk. And now she's got this 17, which is 17 micron wool. I really liked how that took the yarn, or the dye. It's really soft. She had it knit up in a really loose gauge as a shawl, which was really nice. And then she also had it as gloves. Like a glove. Obviously, I wouldn't be knitting those into socks. Not for me. Not something that soft. But I thought like a hat or mitts.
Yeah, I'll have to be picking up some of this. It just happened to be that when I was in her booth, it was like each, because her yarns are kind of segmented by what they are, and like there's a bunch of people here, and there's a bunch of people here, and I was like, I'll see you, Lene, again.
Yep.
That was pretty much my like, okay, well, she's busy, I'm happy for her, and I'll have to look at it
nice,
when.
though? Yeah. I was like, well, if I don't make something for me, I'll definitely make something for Ellie out of that. Yeah. Her other one that she recently had.
Didn't she have 17 in multiple weights too?
She's got a DK and a fingering.
Okay.
Yep. What was the other one that was a very interesting base that I recently got from her?
Didn't we get like luxury bases? Like there was a yak one that had some.
Yes, yak and merino, maybe a yak merino blend. That was super soft and nice. I think I got 2 colors in that to make like a 2-color shawl or something.
I got 3 that were very close to each other in color, so it's kind of a nice like fade. Gradient.
I got to make that joke at work recently. We were talking about a UI, and they were like, those gray word sections at the top, it would be really nice if they were delineated and maybe, make them change in color a little bit so it looks more like they're tabs. And I was like, yeah, make it a gradient. My pun game is strong. Last but certainly not least, where I lost my mind, my ever-loving mind. I went to 3 Kitten Needle Arts, and was talking to them about the shirts. They said that enough people had been asking about the Minnesota knit shirts, that they're going to get a new order of those in. And as I was talking to her, something kept sparkling in my eye over to the side, and it was this polka dot sheep. But I've never heard of them before. They are out of, it says on here, Whitefish, Montana.
Okay.
It was I don't know that I have the receipt, but I thought it was a very reasonable price per skein, and I was really loving the speckle and then the colorway. So this one is, it's a tenderfoot is the base, so it's a merino nylon, and it's Margot is the colorway. I have an Aunt Margot. I thought it was very pretty. And then this one, I was like, well, again, I enabled myself into what I would consider a sweater quantity because I have so many single skeins. I thought this would make a very nice summer top, and it's very apropos, appropriately named Summer Storm. So some dark
Yeah.
grays, and then some pink and yellows. So they were like, what are you going to do with 3 of those? And I was like, well, I do have a summer top that I've designed, but I don't know that this might be too busy
Yeah.
for that motif. Even though that motif, I think, really highlights variegated yarns, it might be a little too busy. But summer store. And that was where I had to walk out. I mean, I think I went to Good and Gargoyle last and got this last. Okay, Megan, stop. Must stop. It's pretty, and you told yourself you couldn't have the hedgehog, but now you're buying, like, you know, something else to fulfill your hedgehog desires. So, yeah. I've not heard of it. It was new to me. Polka dot sheep. Whitefish, Montana. But yes. And that was, you know, that was all that I purchased. That was all.
That was it. Okay.
DK. Shirts wrapped up today, so by the time that this has been posted, it's gone. If I'm really on it, the 5K signups will have closed up as well. And then I believe the signing up to teach a class is also ending here very soon, if not on that date. I've got it on my calendar. It hasn't reminded me yet, but it's not May 1st yet. Anything else that we wanted to mention? We have had a few people reach out and say that they would love to donate, and we will be reaching out to those folks with details, and also to the folks that continuously support us year after year, that we appreciate a great deal. Yeah, the countdown is getting into a small number of days.
Yeah. My mom is making like bag totes that are coordinating, and so she's gonna have me publish that soon.
Okay.
Out on the StockinetteZombies Instagram feed.
Okay. Yep. Yep. That was where I put the reminder about signing up for the shirts as well.
Yep. So I figure if you're interested in that, you can keep an eye out for that on Instagram in the coming day or two. She's sending them to us, but they wouldn't be here in time for this week's recording, so I was like, we'll just post them to Instagram, and she was cool with that.
Excellent.
And then, yeah, I don't know, just more details being put together and make sure everything's coming.
Yeah.
Hopefully
You had a roof problem?
we got hail damage last year, and then we were on the really long waiting list because we were late to the game about getting it appraised. And so all of the roofers in town were busy until spring. So now it's spring.
Yep.
So getting that done.
The wait list should be moving here shortly.
Just a little bit.
Yep. Yep. Generally, we contact people in groups and give a deadline by which you need to respond. And if everybody in that group is interested, then we've got our number. And if not, then we move on to the next step. Yep. So it seems like it moves fairly quickly because, you know, just like when you put the people that signed up for the retreat, when you put your name on the wait list, you didn't know whether or not you were going to have plans come true.
Right.
So, yep. Trying to think of anything else. I can't. A decidedly less Sully episode.
Yeah.
Sullivan the window is open.
Yes, the window is open. So
he's really enjoying looking out. And sitting, somebody pushed the footstool that's normally right there up to the window for him. So he's just got a perch. He's got a perch. But thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye, Yuta.